Okay, CVT lesson from Mark. This is The Head and the Heart, a song called Down in the Valley. And what I did, Mark, was you gave me the freedom to kind of make a rock arrangement out of it. And gave me the creativity to kind of convert this into a more electric. And I took the piano solo, put that on the guitar. I think you're really going to like it. Everything's notated in the tabs. The tuning, I don't know if I said that yet, drop D, and all the techniques that you are going to need are written at the top of your tabs. So I'm really digging this. I love that you trusted me, and you know, it kind of took on a life of its own, like I figured it would, but it's got kind of a Foo Fighters type vibe to me. I don't know, really cool. So here's what we got on Section 1. Everything's time-stamped, sectioned off. Really self-explanatory in the tabs. Excuse me. So, Section 1, 2 times. This is, you know, obviously from the start of the song to 16 seconds in. And here's what you're looking at. That's going to be the first time. Now you're going to see in the tabs the second time no star, which is the fret hand muting that I was doing, is going to be gone. We're just going to let the chord ring out. We play a little slower for you. Okay, so let me break it down. Got an intonation issue going on here. Not good. D string's a little bit out on my intonation. Anyways, so on the start, we're going to bar fret 10 on the top 3 strings. So your index is going to handle the bar there. Third finger fret 12 on the G. Now I tried to catch the melody as much as possible that the acoustic guitar was doing, because that's kind of the defining, you know, recognizing part of any song is the melody. So most of that is actually in here. This chord, if it's, you may have to check it individually, make sure everything's clear. Strum it 3 times, strings E, A, D, G, the top 4. Make sure when you're barring here that you're muting the B and E or not strumming them. I think it's better, Mark, to actually mute those on the bottom if you can. It takes a little practice, but once you do it, you'll be able to do it every time. And then keep the bar through all this actually, and then go pinky 14 D, and we still have the 10 off the E and A string 3 times on the top 3 strings now. Then third finger fret 12 on the D, the bar still stays 3 times. So we have, and you'll hear that melody in the original. So then we're going to go 10 10 14, 10 10 12, and 10 10 10. And that would sound like this. And then over here, bar the 3rd fret on the top 3 strings, and then go middle finger 4 G, and maybe check those individually. Sounds odd by itself, but when you hear it in context with the other chord, I think it sounds really cool. We're going to go from 3 3 4 or 3 3 3 4 to 3 3 3 5, but that'll be twice on the 5. So, and then bar. You want this barred all the way down because we're going to go E B G. So we have, right? Open A, 2D, 5G. I call these flatted power chords. This has got the open A on it. Chords are really cool, man. I really like how they came out, and that's, I think drop D tuning helps you be able to catch the melodic notes without having to always stretch as far. Open A, 2D, 5G. That'll be 3 times. And then 5th fret, E and A. Just bar, it's probably the best way. Hit it once, and then fret hand mute. When you fret hand mute something, you know, I haven't heard you play yet, but you did a pretty good job of explaining where you're at. just lift the pressure off, and I would drop these 3 fingers down softly. We don't want any note, just string mutes. That's the first time through. The second time through, when you play it, just let it ring instead of go. It'll be the same amount of time. Then, and obviously that's distortion. I have the EQ settings in your tabs. Okay, clean channel for this part. And this is the verse, section 2, 17 seconds to 32 seconds. And there's some stretch chords, man, in some of these. 10E, 8A, 10D. With that finger layout, 3, 1, and 4. We're going to hit the, and this is, you know, all piano stuff, man, that we're doing, that I transposed. No, it's not. There's guitar in there, too. It's really a piano guitar song. So on this, let me play the section so you can hear it first. Okay, that's the first half of the section. Okay, then the next part, I'll go ahead and play the second half of it. Or let's play that again. Let's do it again. So let's break that down. Oops, I had you set up on this 10, 8, 10. You're going to hit the E and A together and then go G, D. I would actually go up on those last 2. Get you in the direction of the next string that's coming up. Kind of the basic kind of rule with picking, but I don't like saying rules because everyone's different. But that's kind of a concept that a lot of guitar players use. If you're stuck on which direction should I pick, is your next string up? Because if it is, you may want to pick up. That's what I'm getting at. If it's down, you may want to pick down. And then do the same thing again, but take your index, move it over to fret 7 on the A string. These got to stay, and that's the biggest stretch out of this. But play everything else the same. And then go right back to where you were. And then middle finger, drop to 9 G, keep everything else down, strum those 4 strings, E, A, D, G. So we have... And then... and you could decide, Mark, too, if you want a little distortion on some of these parts. I just kind of went with what I was feeling on it. Bar the 2nd fret, E and A. Bar the 5th fret, D and G. And I'm using my index and my pinky for that. Doing some sliding here. We're going to strum the top 4. There's our notes. Sliding the bar a half step sharp up to the 3rd fret. That's traveling a half step right there. So once you get there, go down, up, down, up. So, and if you have to subgroup this, which I suggest you do, take it in small pieces like that and just repeat it. Particularly on the parts that you may be struggling with to get the rhythm of it or the feel of it. Just, you know. Then this part, I blended an octave with some just odd notes, an E and a F together. So coming out of that, looking for it in the tabs. Okay, 3A muted to D. So this finger needs to just barely touch the D string. 3rd finger 5G, and you're going to strum A, D, and G. Now you should hear 2 out of those 3. Here how the middle one's deadened. Those are octaves. As that's ringing, take your pinky, go to 6B, and then hit an open high E. So we're turning an octave basically into a really big sounding chord. With your index, you may want to mute the low E too. Muting is just as important as the fretted notes on guitar, man. I don't care if it's for solos or rhythms. Watch what you're muting, because what that does is it frees up this hand. So we don't have to concentrate on, oops, am I going to hit that string? We only got that much room between strings, so. Might take some getting used to for that. So. Then the ending of this, keep the pinky, keep the third finger right where you have it. And take your index, actually no, I think we're going to be moving, just keep the pinky there. And then, let me see what I put on fingering on this. Well, you could leave your third if you want, might work out better, and bar the 5th fret on the E, A, and the D. But experiment with it. You know, it's the same as if you were to go. So the less fingers might be the better option. You'll just have to mess with that. Once you strum it, go down, down, up, down, up, down, rest. You'll see a line with the X and the tabs. That means you just silence the notes. So we have. Now, that's going to repeat. You'll see the double dots in there. Second time through, we're going to let that ring out like we did on section 1. So that would be like this. Back to this. Instead of resting, it's ringing. Alright, then section 3 comes in, 33 seconds to 43 seconds. And you have to decide, like I said, where you want the distortion. I'm going back to it on section 3 here. And 3A, 3D, open G, 1st fret on the B string and 1st fret on the high E string. So I'm barring over here, like if you were doing an F chord, you know, but we have the open G, 3D, 3A. Maybe check that individually too. And go down, down, up, down, up. That's the first half of that part. Second half is going to be this. Alright, and that's how that section is going to end, but let's break that down. So we have the down, down, up, down, up. Do that a second time, but instead of barring over here, go to the 1st fret on the B, have the high E string be the open. Everything else is the same. Third finger is actually muting the low E. Like I was saying earlier about how important the muting is. Do the same strum, down, down, up, down, up. So if we took the first 2 chords there in section 3, then go 5, 5, 4, A, D, G. Looks like an E major shape, right? And then what I'm doing on this is strumming everything except the outside strings, the E strings. So you'd go, oops. You can hear 4 notes there. 2 of them are B notes. But then pinky down to 5G and strum the same strings twice. So we have. Then back. That's going to go twice though now. You'll go. And then bar the 5th fret on the E and A again. Go down, rest, palm mute, down, up, and then down, no palm mute. So the 5s at the end of section 3 are. Let's do that whole section. Then back. Alright. Oh, I need to show you where we did the bend here after you do the. We've got 4G with the pinky, 1B with the index, and this is tough, Mark. I mean, this bend, it's a half step bend, thank God, which is a 1 fret bend. But take these 2 fingers and stick behind it on the G string to help bend it. And we want to go half step, bring it back down to pitch. So we're basically going, but we're creating it with a bend and a release. and then go open G. So then you're back to this part. And then remember the part up here, but we're going to go twice. Then the 5th fret E and A. Short rest, palm mute 4 of them, down up, and the 5th one, technically the 6th one out of all the 5s, isn't palm muted. So think of it this way, the first one isn't and the last one isn't, and you got 6 times that you're playing this 5th fret power chord. Alright, then we go back to section 1 2 times, that's 44 to a minute 1. Section 2 2 times, that's a minute 2 to a minute 18. Okay, we're going to move on to section 2. And yep. Okay, so 3-3 AD, you'll recognize this chord from earlier. Open G, 1st fret on the B and E. I wanted to catch some of the accenting that was going on in this song too, as well as the melody notes. And you'll know what I'm talking about because there's this part right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you'll hear the whole band kind of together on that. So I figured let's stay to the integrity on that part. Those things are kind of key things. So we got 4 hits there. 5, 5, 4 open, A, D, G, B. You'll recognize this. It's the part that we do 2 times. So we have and then 3rd fret on the E and A. Feeling like we missed something. Oh no, we're still at the bottom of page 1. There's a few little parts, but it's still the same on the beat. And then you got the bend, so hold off on that 3-3. You'll see that in your tabs. It's the bend, half-step bend release that we did earlier. Then this part on the top of page 2. And that's what I need to show you here. Whenever we're on this part here, the first time through, you're just going 1, 2, 3. The secondary time is twice that. So, oops. So I'm taking this power chord, which is an F power chord, and I'm hitting the top 2 strings and sliding it a whole step. Whole step is 2 frets, so 3 to 5. Once you get there, go down, up, and then 3 downs. Rhythm's going to be important, so let me repeat that. Right? And then section 2, 2 times, that's a minute 30 to a minute 46. I can't even say 46. Section 5, this is kind of a breakdown in the song where the chords are just kind of ringing. And I wanted to keep this just with the bigger sounding chords, man. It's one of those songs, which is why I said it's Foo Fighters. You know, it's got that Dave Grohl kind of style, I think. Bar the 3rd fret, everything. Go 5G with your 3rd finger and 5B with your pinky. Strum that, and this is a whole note. In other words, it's going to get a 4 count. Now, when you listen to their version of the song, you'll hear it. It's just going to be a 3, 4. You know, it gets the whole measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then open A, 2D, 5G and B, and that's going to be barred with your pinky. So we have 3, 4. So 4, 2, 3, 4. 3rd fret A, 5th fret D, G, and B. You're going to have to bar that with your pinky or your 3rd finger. Is the best ways, I think. 2, 3, 4, and then this is a G major chord in drop D tuning. 5, 5, 3rd and 4th finger. Open D, open G, and then bar the 3rd fret on the last 2 strings. Oops. So our 4 chords. Okay, and that's the end of part 1.